When on the path of spiritual enlightenment, you are transitioning from an ego-based mentality of scarcity and not feeling like your goals are obtainable, that they're in fact impossible, to a conscious mindset of understanding that everything is possible and everything is obtainable as long as you follow through with being mindful about your speech, being mindful about your thoughts, your emotions, making sure your emotions are tied to action and making sure those actions are in alignment with your desire. And so as you think about your goals and think about the things that you wish to achieve and materialize and manifest in life, it is important that you put perspective on ego and consciousness. You see, enlightenment is really exposing the ego. It is shedding light on the ego and understanding what is real and what isn't real about the ego. Because the ego tends to project a lot of illusions, a lot of distractions, a lot of assumptions, a lot of fears that are not based on logic and practicality. It's more so based on the fear of the possibility of being hurt or being harmed, which is really not something that is likely, you see. But because when you are driven by the ego, you ultimately make that essentially a reality for you. And so as you are stepping into this understanding of enlightenment and how enlightenment leads you to figuring out and accomplishing your goals, you have to put in perspective that the ego is going to be the thing, and the only thing, in fact, that will distract you and take you away from those goals. It's not the person. It's not the person that you don't get along with at your job or in your business, or, it's not the company you work for. It's not even the person that you're in a relationship with that's stopping you from being happy and fulfilled. It is your ego and how you are allowing your ego to create a system of, allowing yourself to be comfortable being uncomfortable, allowing yourself to settle, allowing yourself to tolerate certain situations and interactions and people that don't align with your greater good, that don't align with whatever it is that you seek and will ultimately lead to your fulfillment when you are aligned with your consciousness and when you're walking your true path. You see, the path of being aware and being clear about what it is that you want. So as you go through enlightenment, you are just exposing, you are shedding light on all that is and all that isn't. It's like when we are in a dark room, we have an assumption that the room is filled with furniture and things on the floor. So we walk with caution. We move with caution. And that allows you to have a fear-based mentality. These are things that aren't necessarily real, so to speak, or likely because there is nothing in the room, but your imagination, because your ego is driven by the fear of hurt and being harmed, it has created this possibility of obstacles, objects, right? Challenges, fears that has caused you to walk very cautiously and maybe not even move at all because you are just simply too scared to take a step. But in this room of darkness, you have allowed your ego to lead in you actually taking away your power, taking away the ability to simply say, well, the room is empty, right? The room is not filled with obstacles and challenges and things that's going to prevent me from actually creating and materializing my goals. It is the light that actually exposes what the room is and what's in the room. So that way you have that clarity, you have that understanding, you have that realistic approach to the reality of life. Okay. And then you can just walk through the room knowing, okay, there's nothing here. Or if there is something here, I can easily avoid it. Right. But it isn't based on your imagination of the fear-based mindset of the ego, making up random stuff that doesn't exist. The enlightenment is the ability to see what is real and what isn't real as you walk forward throughout your life, thus creating a practical, systematic approach to manifestation, to materializing your goals, to materializing your passions and your desires. And so as you go through this process, you recognize how important it is to practice this self-awareness, to practice mindfulness, to step forward in a place that allows you to really see yourself, okay, whole and completely, the totality of who you are. So that way you know what things are going to come up, what triggers may be, initiated, or what buttons may be pressed that is going to maybe cause some difficulty, cause some challenge, cause you to actually face the dark aspects of yourself. And with the conscious aspect of yourself, the light aspects of yourself, right? The positive versus the negative, the high frequency versus the low frequency, then you can actually expose and say, okay, yes, there are triggers that are coming up. There are things that are causing me to fear and experience fear and to not want to move forward because of this fear. But with enlightenment, right, with the practice of awareness, self-awareness, mindfulness, taking a step back and being the observer of these fears, these thoughts, the ego mentality, then you get to actually see the truth. This is what the journey is about, seeing the truth, and then being able to move forward along your path of materialization and achieving your goals to actually create the opportunities, create the abundance, create the love and the success that is meant for you. This is the objective. This is the mission, okay? And as you come into materializing those things, you come into self-realization as to you being the creator of your universe. And so you have to recognize that this practice is a lifelong practice. It doesn't just simply stop when you have achieved all the things on your current list or your current desires, okay? Because as you achieve those things, there's going to be more to achieve. There's going to be more to desire because there's going to be more of you to realize. You are not a finite being, okay? You are infinite. That means that your journey is infinite. That means that you continue to move forward in this unfoldment. You continue to move forward in this journey of obtaining abundance and love and success, right? So keep that in mind, but understand that this isn't a path of achieving a particular destination as if that is the end all be all. This isn't a path of reaching a certain level and thinking, that's it, you've made it. This is a path of acknowledging the levels, acknowledging where you want to go next as a landmark, a benchmark, because then that allows you to understand how to set your goals, right? How to take the steps to move forward. A lot of times we look so far ahead and we think so grandly about our dreams and desires, but we're not really being practical in first acknowledging what is the next step. Okay, what can I do right now to get me closer to that grand goal? Okay, so you must focus on the present moment. That's the only place and the only time that things actually happen. It is in the moment. Things do not happen in the future. Things do not no longer happen in the past. They only happen now. So when you acknowledge that and you understand that it is what can I do now, then you are approaching this journey of attaining your goals from a perspective of practicality. All right. Now you've already understood that practicing self-awareness, mindfulness is the key to experiencing this enlightenment that exposes the truth and the reality of your situation, which ultimately is that you get to create all of this. You are creating all of this. Now you're just doing so mindfully and consciously. That is the essence of enlightenment. And so as you are going through this process and you're thinking about your goals, you think about, okay, yes, this is the big picture of what I am going to create. Now, where I am now, and the next step is very important because that sets the momentum for everything else. You have to be mindful about that and clear about that. your ability to obtain your goals is what is going to support you with your journey of self-fulfillment and self-mastery, self-realization. So continue to think about that. Where are you right now? And what is the steps, or what is the step that you can take right now to just get you a little bit closer to your goal? I heard a quote that if we just focused on 1% of improving ourselves, 1% of the process toward achieving our goals, we are, by the end of the year, 365 days, we are 37% better than we was the year before. So when you think about that, and when you think about just making those small, incremental, tiny steps, right? What is the most small, tiniest step that I can take right now to get me a little bit closer? Then over the course of days, weeks, months, years, you are more far along than you can possibly imagine. Okay. And not only will you change and create the reality that you are currently living in to the reality that you are desiring and wanting, then you recognize that, okay, if I simply just focus on just this 1% every moment, every day, then it's just simply a matter of physical time, right? It's just a matter of allowing myself to create this momentum and thus create all the things that is meant for me to create. Because you are a divine being, you are created by the Creator, therefore you are the creator, okay? Nothing that is created is separate or different from that of the thing by which it was created from. So recognize that, understand that. And so this journey is about you coming into your creator essence, your creator nature, okay? So recognize that along this journey. But it's important that you recognize enlightenment is a process of exposing the ego for what it is, putting it in its proper place. So that way you can move forward empowered to create all that you desire, but most importantly, be all that you truly are. Thank you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, get access to this free ebook. I also invite you to join my Conscious Creator Circle, which is a membership that allows you to go deeper into these techniques and this theory while providing you a multitude of techniques and ways that you can actually master conscious creation and thus creating the reality that you desire. Feel free, join the circle. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.